This is Boris Epshteyn, and still no furniture. Well, no, he got some furniture outdoors, but he's still on the folding chair in the house. And then Steve Bannon, and this is 2021 was the strongest year ever for the MAGA movement. Yes, nothing was better for MAGA than Trump losing the election, Biden being sworn in, January 6th being a flop, a bunch of people who are like the most proud and virulent MAGA supporters ending up in fucking jail, and him being charged with contempt and having to deal with it. Yeah, great. This is the good times. Let the good times roll.
Boris Epshteyn, how has it evolved over the year?
Steve, what's amazing is that I just looked back to an exact poll, and Reuters, on a poll done on Jan 20, Jan 21, approve, disapprove, an exact 25-point difference. 57 approve, 32 disapprove at moment zero of the start of the Biden administration. So always we give the exact numbers for this audience, always signal, not noise. So that is the touch point, right? And
by the way, he says signal, not noise, all the time. Also military things, also Navy, also breach, also tip of the spear, also stuff.
If you could put up that graph that I sent over of approved, perfect. Denver, such an amazing job. Thank you so much. Right there. So on Jan 20th, so 57 good. To 32 plus 25. And then look at this march. Look at the march down of this administration. It is absolutely.
Yeah, and yet, strangely enough, still doing better even after Afghanistan, which was, of course, the most embarrassing thing ever, and after inflation and all these things. Still, what's happening? What's happening right here? What's happening right here? Why? I know you're cutting off right here. Like, I get that we're talking about July. Afghanistan's happening. As all the news that's fit to puke was about Afghanistan right here. I mean, that's right here. And then, the disapproval went down, actually, during October as things start getting better. Went back up. That was a lost weekend, probably. And then, what's happening here? Yep. Hi, buddy. Look at that. That's a little rough. It's the approval rating's going back up. That didn't happen to Trump. Why not?
Shocking, absolutely shocking. In the approve, disapprove, and the black is the approve, the red is the disapprove. And what's interesting about it, Steve, is
that the approve has been going up steadily since the end of November.
Look at the numbers. The spread didn't get to single digits till July, consistently. This is an average. The spread didn't get small till July, and it flipped completely somewhere in late August, and really what caused it.
Now here's the real question. Which half of the American public makes up the rise in approval and disapproval, and are they the same people? So would you say there would be a linear connection between hardcore progressives who think that Build Back Better is, was separated and it wasn't going to get passed, and they were going to do all this thing, there's a bunch of back and forth, and he should be twisting Manchin's arm, and there's all this other kind of stuff, and infrastructure's never going to pass, this whole back and forth, right? And then we're getting out of Afghanistan, and some people think we should get out but stay in, and other people think we should get out for, but keep Bagram, and other people are like we should get out quicker, or we should have gotten out on May 31st and don't give a shit about the people who would have been left to die there. Any of that kind of stuff. Any of this? Anybody see what this looks like to me? This looks like work.
Is Afghanistan. That was the real disaster that truly crystallized and made it just so beautifully.
Well, I would say what about Afghanistan? I mean, we're not in Afghanistan anymore, so there's that.
Perfectly clear.
Well, the emperor had no clothes. That was the moment that everybody could say it, right?
Because
apparently Biden not only got us out of Afghanistan, he did it in the nude.
You talk about the suburban moms, right? You talk about the traditional Democrats. They still remember Joe Biden as, he was the chair of the Foreign Relations Committee, and this guy knows things, and he's going to bring back American respect on the foreign arena. But really, what he did is he stripped America of our strength, of our strutting, of.
Yes, yeah, that's what we were doing for the last 20 years in Afghanistan. I don't know if you know that. We were strutting. It cost us $300 million a day to strut, but it was worth it. You know what I mean? Sherman, remember, no matter what, you got to strut.
Dignity on the international arena, and that's what Afghanistan did. And
Yes. That's what we had under Trump, was dignity on the international arena. While he's pushing people out, Trump's pushing people out of the way and fucking farting his time away in meetings and fighting NATO. While Russia's like, all right, season 2 of this asshole show, we'll just move into Crimea.
But I believe the failure in Afghanistan, the death of those beautiful 13 innocent young.
How old were the 64 that died in Afghanistan during the Trump years? How old are the service people who have died since we got out of Afghanistan? Do you think Boris or Steve Bannon could name one of the 64 soldiers that died in Afghanistan during the 4 years Trump was president? I mean, I doubt they could name the people who actually died on the day in the bombing. And Trump, again, 96 dignified transfers happened under Trump. He only went to 4 of them.
And then Joe Biden looking at his watch as at Dover Air Force Base as their remains came home. That is the death knell of this administration.
Yeah, it's totally the death knell. I don't know if you realize it's a death knell. Now, if you show the video, he's actually touching the rosary that was Bo's, and and they also have strikes going on over there at the same time he was there. But he also went. You know what I mean? It's checking his watch or not. He is the president of the United States, and knowing what time it is and where they're going to be is part of what they're doing. And wanting to stay longer or not, and knowing you can't because there's an actual airstrike going on is part of the thing. But you know what the difference between the last dignified transfer that happened when Trump was president and this one? The president was there.
Everything else is awful, no doubt about it. The border, awful. Inflation, awful.
No, the border is not awful. We got 25% increase in recidivism where people are coming across again. So we're getting double counts on, or like 45% recidivism. So they're trying again, they're getting caught again. See, we wouldn't have that recidivism number if the people got through. But they're like, oh, what's happening, Gary? Yeah, you got back out you go. Trying 3-4 times.
Supply chain crisis, awful. Full stop. However,
yes. I'm sorry. Explain to everybody. We'll wait. How Biden, who was sworn in January 20th, is responsible for the supply chain crisis. Also, ignore and you can even take your time. Ignore the changes they made to the ports so that shipping actually improved. Were there empty shelves? Do you have any empty? You don't have any empty shelves pictures to show that aren't from people hoarding toilet paper in 2020?
Afghanistan moment, the moment when America, the largest hegemon in the world, was defeated so soundly in Afghanistan.
What are you talking about? Trump negotiated the exit with the Taliban and busted their leader out of jail to do it. He got 5,000 Taliban fighters released from jail. People who spread out across the country and started killing people.
So soundly in Afghanistan and so clearly by wrong decisions. This wasn't as if there was a bad.
Sorry. What was the wrong decision? What was it? Was it wrong to get out? Because apparently then Trump made that wrong decision when he was running in 2015, when he said we were going to get out. And then he went back on it in 2017 and chickened out again and again and again and again and again. Never got to it. And then when Biden finally does it, that's the bad part? Yeah, right.
One side won, one side lost. No. This was leaving Bagram Air Force Base unattended in the middle of the night without letting...
Unattended? Yeah. We're supposed to leave American soldiers to attend to an empty base we have no intention of going back to? Why? The fuck for? Unattended. Like, it's like, what are they supposed to valet your fucking car?
The Afghanis know. This was leaving Americans. Americans are still in Afghanistan today, Steve.
No. And, well, there are dual citizens who are in Afghanistan because they want to be there. They did not want to leave. Anybody who wanted to leave is out. Has been out. The only people we didn't, like, force by gunpoint to get out of the fucking country in Afghanistan are in the opium trade. Goodbye.
So that moment, you're totally right. The emperor had no clothes. And from then on, let's go back to that graphic, Denver. From that on, Joe Biden has continued to plummet.
We'll see there, yeah, except for this part. You got an issue here. This is no longer plummeting, and this is more recent. So this would be the news cycle, which, by the way, I know you believe that the news always tells the truth, and the mainstream media's take on Afghanistan was that it was a debacle. So clearly they're right, and you agree with them. So this is Boris and Steve Bannon signing on to everything that CNN was saying, and MSNBC was saying, and Fox was saying, and CNBC was saying, right? Yeah.
The disapproval keeps going up, and sure, there's dips and there's valleys and all that, but it's
there's dips and there's valleys. Sure, there is this whole thing where it's going up. Oh, you got a scratch there, buddy? You got a scratch? There he is. Sorry, I got it. You have so much hair all over the place, young man. Hi.
all about direction in polling. And this is overall. This includes Democrats. So he's plus 45
I want to make sure that we're people aren't.
I want to make sure that people aren't freaking out that the last month and a half it's gone nothing but up, and that it's higher than Trump's was. It's stayed that way even after we got out of Afghanistan, supposedly the worst inflation in 50 years, and yet something's turning around. Biden keeps smiling and it keeps bothering us.
In this does not include the independents. It is included, but we don't break out the independents because the independents are really the proxy for the American people, since both sides.
And I'm going to go to that right now.
Yeah, but hang on. I want to go back and tee this up. Remember, according to because remember, most people don't follow politics and capital markets and geopolitics as much as this audience. This audience is kind of inside baseball. That's why this show is not for.
Yeah, the total. It's this. I mean, that's what we're hearing inside baseball. You know, it's not like we're hearing the same shit they just said on Newsmax and Fox. Honest to God, listen to what this asshole just said and what he's talking about. They're talking about polling from Real Clear Politics, that Afghanistan was terrible, inflation is bad, blah, blah, blah. Same fucking talking points. We might as well be watching, like, Fox and Friends without makeup.
Entertainment, it's for work, right? And people want to be ahead of this.
Yeah, it's definitely not for entertainment. And I will say, for the record, watching Steve Bannon is work.
Things Biden had done, he'd had the $1.9 trillion third financial bailout from the Chinese Communist Party virus, the drop in aggregate, 1.9 trillion. That passed.
So I'm sorry. So for the record, Steve Bannon, using your phrases, we should not have bailed out the American people who were at the effect of the Chinese Communist Party virus. We should have just left the American people to feel the worst effects of the quote unquote Chinese Communist Party But we should just let them stew. This is China's fault. And, I mean, other than I guess we could have raided their banks and stole yuan and paid our bills with that. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Of Republicans. Then you had other things he was pushing. You heard all the happy talk, Fauci. Afghanistan was that pivotal moment, but it started to crystallize in people's minds a lot of other things I think they were uncomfortable
in July.
And in July, that started to come to the forefront of the handling of the economy, the handling of COVID, right? The geopolitics with China, all of it. So talk to us about
the geopolitics with China. Yeah, is that what it did? That's what drove the number down?
Steve,
2 minutes.
There's one more thing.
Go ahead.
It's also the images, right? America and the American people.
There you go. Yeah, it's not the facts. It's not the details. It's not the fact that like unemployment is the lowest it's been since September of '69, and it's not that the number of unemployment claims is at its lowest point since 1969, and on a numbers basis, not just by percentage, even though the population is far larger now. It's not that those numbers, it's not that the inflation numbers you're using to sell are based largely on gas and used cars and that year-over-year effect of the middle of 2020. It's not that we're bullshitting people. It's not that Trump ran on getting us out of Afghanistan and never fucking did. And Biden finally did, as ugly as it was, that it was always going to be that way, which is why nobody did it before. And it's not like his numbers are coming up according to your own chart because people are coming to that realization. This is budget Joe Rogan. Ouch.
React to images. And the image of Joe Biden falling.
And by the way, Rocky Mountain Mike, thank you. Tonight he's going to party like it's 1999. I appreciate the 1999. Appreciate it. I think tonight we're going to party like Betty White is 99. That's how I look at it. We miss you, Betty. Melinda, thank you for the super chat as well. And the artist formerly known as Craig, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for coming along. Absolutely.
To his own plane to Air Force One back in March.
Yes.
The images of Joe Biden just stuttering all over himself and being a total disaster. And this is not, we're not some show that, we're going to pick apart little clips and have a good time with it.
Yeah, you are. That's all you're doing. Again, how is this show any fucking different than any of the other bullshit we've seen? This is exactly what Newsmax does. The Republican viewers, like any other viewers, have a certain level of expectation of what they're going to expect. Now, I'm sure on the left there's a certain degree of that, like reaction videos being what they are. I do my own personal spin on it, and I would argue that there's a uniqueness to what I do in that it is completely impromptu. I do not pre-watch these clips, so everything I'm responding to is off the cuff, and then I bring up facts that I either simply Google because I am aware that they exist, or that I've known for a long time, and then I just go back and bring them up again because we've dealt with this bullshit over and over again. So I do think I'm a bit unique. But these guys aren't. These guys are laboring under the idea that they invented this as a concept.
No, that's not what it's all about. This isn't laughs. This isn't jokes. This is about
No, well, you're right. It's not even interesting, I would argue. It's sort of just sour grapes. There's a certain loneliness. I mean, friendless, without any furniture. Overall, pretty pitiful, I would say. Steve isn't going anywhere. He's been sitting in front of that mantle, farting up the joint for ages. They can't even turn on the fireplace because he'll blow himself to smithereens. So,
a guy who's supposed to be a leader of our country, who we know is illegitimate, embarrassing himself.
No, he's actually the elected president, and he's doing a fine job. There you go. Change my mind.
That is what drives approval, disapproval down, and that's what drives right track, wrong track down.
I want to get back to right track.
Oh, that's the end of the clip? They just bailed out. That's the end of it. Okay.